beginner to advanced course. In this lesson, we want to learn how to create magazine covers. And this is the type of magazine covers that we'll be creating. We'll be creating fashion magazine, and also we will try and create two of these fashion magazine, which is this and the first one. This one has already been created and you have an assignment on it to complete it, and this one is also an assignment for you to also complete this business magazine. So I will leave this file, design file, in your exercise file. So you see we have faster, visit Ghana, and business for the other. So for the business, you come and open the business and you work on it. Okay, so I'll before I finish this course or this lesson, I will talk about the business magazine, how you should do it, so that we can continue with what we are about to do. Now let's go ahead and create our document to start creating these two fashion magazines. So go to file, new. Actually, let's close this window. I want us to use millimeters, so let's go to edit. So I'm trying to make us use different units and increments so that we'll be very familiar with it. So I want us to use millimeters in this. So turn this to millimeters, horizontal to millimeters, and the vertical to also millimeters. Now let's click on OK. So let's go ahead and create new. And then what we are coming to do is we want the width to be, okay, let's choose A4 over here. So let's wait for a little bit for it to preview for us, because when it is previewing, then it makes the InDesign very slow. So we will choose A4 and the width will be 210 millimeters, height to 297 millimeters, and then our margins will be 12 millimeters. Okay, so input 12 millimeters in the margin, and then we leave the column as it is, and then we want our bleed to be 3 meters. So if you are using inches, you can use inches. Okay, you can use inches, and the inches you can just type in 3 meters and it will automatically change it into inches for you. Okay, so for instance, if I were to be using inches, okay, let's say if I were to be using millimeters right now and I want to do something with inches, so I can just type 10 inches, and then it will automatically change it, the value for me. Okay, so it will, let's say it said 6, so let's see 6 inches, so I type in 6 inches and it will automatically convert for me. So you can also do the same thing if you haven't changed your units and increments. Okay, and then you can do what we call the changes. Okay, so now I want our blade to be 3 meters, and now let's click on OK. Now, so we are coming to create our InDesign magazine. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring in what we will be using. So let's go to file, place, let's go into our InDesign, go into InDesign size files, and then open your magazine design, and then open the magazine cover. So now let's bring in our text that we'll be using. So just click here and then uncheck this, and now show import options. Now you can click on open. Okay, so this is all you have to check. Okay, and then click on OK. And now let's come and put it on our pasteboard this way. Okay, there you go. Now, so we will be creating this magazine, and it's a very simple magazine that we will be creating. There wouldn't be much hassle. You won't suffer to create it, or it's not difficult for us. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring in our image. So let's go to file and then place, and this is the image we'll be using. Uncheck show import options, and I'll click on open. So come over here, so make sure your images goes to the bleed, and then you can click on leave it to place it. Now come into the middle here, or double click to go into the direct selection tool, and now you can work on it. So let's shift it a little bit. Let's bring it down. Now let's click W to preview how it's been looking now. Okay. Now let's click back W. Okay, now we are good to go. So let's go ahead and bring in, let's write something on it. Okay, let's write something on it. Since we've done this thing, what is left is for us to write something on it. And now let's start with what this magazine is about. Okay, so let's start with what this magazine is about. So pick your type 2, and then let's write something. Now let's type in what we call the name of the artist here. So this is Enu Baroni. She's a rap artist. So she's a rapper in Ghana, and she's one of our finest female rappers. And even the men are afraid of her, okay, because she's very good at rapping. Yes. So I don't know, hip hop. Yeah, hip hop. Yes. So let's type in Enu Baroni. So we want all to be caps. Control A to select all. I want to use a font called, so if you've installed all your fonts, I've been saying this throughout the course. If you've installed your fonts, then you should be able to find this font. You'll be using a font called Ethnocentric. Okay, so we'll be using Ethnocentric, and this time we'll be using Ethnocentric book. And then we want the size to be, let's increase this and see. Let's make the size 57. Okay, click on enter, and now there we go. Let's make sure to align center. Let's change the color to white, which is paper. Let's try. I think this is good, but it's a little bit small for me, so I want the one that is very big. So let me try regular. Okay, Now let's bring it down. Use your arrow keys to bring it down. Now let's come over here to the words that we pasted here, the text that we pasted here, and copy this. So everything is here, the name is over here, as you can see. Now let's pick our type 2. And then Control V to paste what we selected. Control A to select all. Here we want to use a font called Futura. Okay, so Futura PT. So be using Futura PT Demi. Using this one. So you just click on it. And we want the points to be 30 points. Control A, select all, and then change the color. Control A, and then change the color to paper. And then let's try to bring it down somewhere here. Let's align center. Okay, you can just type Shift Control L, C to align center. Alright, so let's go and bring in another test. So let's go ahead and pick this. And then copy. Now let's duplicate this text box by holding Alt. Hold Alt and then drag to duplicate. There we go. Control U to select, and Control V to paste. Now Control A to select all, and here too we'll be using what we call Futura Demi. And then we'll be using 19 points. Select all to change the color, and also let's change the color to paper. There we go. Let's also align center. Now I think we can add more text to it. So let's go ahead and pick this text. Let's copy it and then come to this text box, click on enter and then Control V, or you can just click here and then paste. Select all. Let's select only the one we just pasted. Okay, so let's use 19 points and then we'll be using Futura Demi. Let's change the color to white or paper and then let's align center. Now there we go. So we can select all and decide to reduce the tracking over here. Then let's bring this downward a little bit. Right click and then fit frame to content. Okay, now let's click on W to preview. So this is what we have at the moment. So I think we're getting somewhere and gradually it's becoming nice. Okay, now what I want us to do is let's go ahead and bring in our heading. So the name is faster. Okay, so T to pick your text to, and then let's draw over here. So faster. FASTA. So I want all to be caps lock FASTA. Select all and then you want to use a font called ethnocentric. So I hope you are following very well, and this is very easy. Looking at what we are doing, it's very easy to do and we won't suffer more with this. So let's use regular, then let's increase the size. There we go. Let's change the color to white. Okay, that's good. Control here. Let's change the color again. Let's use this color. Okay. Cancel. Now we have to add our new. Let's bring it a little bit down over here. Now let's control the fitting. Okay. Now T to pick our type 2. And let's come over here. And then write what you call new. Select all. We'll be using Futura. Okay. So Futura. Let's use bold. Then let's increase it this way. Right, let's come here and set a little bit of tracking. Okay, five isn't going to help, so let me add like one and see if it can. Okay, let's add 3 and see if it will work for us. Okay, now Control A to select, change the color to white. Now let's go ahead and add some shading. So let's come to properties, and come downwards like this and check the shading. Okay, so hold Alt and click over here. Now let's change the color to yellow. There we go. Now let's see how it's looking before. W to preview. Okay, let's leave the type to. So let's go back over here, Control A to select all, and then come back over here, hold Alt and click over here, and now change the tint to 100%. And now let's make some changes over here with the offset, and let's check the right, and let's reduce it. I think it's okay. Let's click on OK. Now let's click on escape. Okay, so this is what we have at the moment. Control A to select all, then let's change the color to black. Now, so you can make it look very nice. Okay, you can make it look very nice. All you have to do is just come over here, hold Alt and click it, and then you can effect the changes. Okay, you can just effect the changes and it will take place. Let's click W. Let's send these faster upwards. Okay, now let's bring this downwards. I'm just using my arrow keys. Okay, you can also do that by using arrow keys. Let's click on W to preview. Now this is what we have. Now let's go back, click on W again. Let's select this text, then copy. Now let's draw a text box over here, then Control V, then Control A to select all. Let's use a font called Futura. And let's make Futura Demi. Let's make the points 27 points. Let's try and see if you can align center. Okay, this is very good. Let's drag it somewhere here. Let's go and pick our ellipse tool and draw a circle by holding shift in order for us to get a straight circle or a circle. We don't want, we want it very rounded. Okay, I think this is okay. Shift S to change it from stroke to fill. Then let's pick this. Now let's try and bring this. Let's add some shadows to it. So let's go to FX, drop shadow, drag it down to see it, and then already with the drop shadow, let it be on multiply. If you want, you can let it be on normal, it depends. Okay, but I want to be on multiply. Then you can play around with the distance over here. Then you can play around with the opacity too. Okay, you can play around with it, and you can change the distance. Okay, and the size and the offset. You can just play around with it and also change the angle. Let's press on OK. Now let's drag this to this place. Let's right click, arrange, and then bring to front. Now let's drag it downwards. Now if the circle is too big for you, you can just shift control, and then you can just reduce it. Okay, so you hold shift control and then reduce the size. Okay, let's click W to preview. Now this is what we have. So you can see what we have over here at the moment. This is what we were trying to do, and I'm sure it looks very nice and appealing to the eyes. Of course, there are some things that we should add, which includes the barcode, and mostly the barcodes are being added by the print house. Okay, so let's go to fireplace. But always you should leave a space for the barcode. That's why when I'm designing mine, I make sure that I leave a space for it by adding my own barcode, and the print house will just make use of that space that I left. Okay, and so there we go. This is the first way of designing our magazine cover, and the other we are going to also create the other one, which we will also be using Photoshop to do some changes to it. So let's look at how to create the other faster fashion magazine. Thank you.